Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Ouroboroid on the play for game one. Definitely wasn't going to say Eldrazi ramp. I'll be honest, I've been thinking about the like sweeper problem that I've been experiencing and haven't really come to a good conclusion yet of what the best course of action is. I thought about a few cards that say like whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter dies, draw a card. But it doesn't unfortunately do much about Day of Black Sun, which removes all abilities and thus wouldn't do much there. Day of Black Sun actually is a little bit of an issue at times. That's something I need to think about and consider. Nowhere to run, it's the Tyvar. Yep, that is unfortunate. In that case, let's start with the Ouroboroid and pass. And pass. Tiny Bones joins up. So this is what, like Grixis self bounce. Boring basics for Tiny Bones again. I suppose I'll pitch the Pollinator, yeah? And draw Badgermaul Cub. That is excellent. Go to combat. Yeah, having manlands with abilities, being able to be animated with Badgermaul Cub and Earthbending's pretty good. Because now we can give everything +1/+1 counter. Boomerang basics, the Ouroboroid, kind of rude, not gonna lie. Then again, I still have lethal on board right now. So what say you, opponent? Do you have a way to get out of lethal range? Nowhere to run. Can hit that. But I still have enough to recast the Ouroboroid. Go to combat, and this should be lethal damage. Self bounce, win for game one. Solid. So, I mean, if we're looking at self bounce, I'm trying to think here. Let me actually take a look at a self bounce list to get a sense for what we're actually playing against. You can take a look at Demir self bounce as a starter, because yeah, this should be running Tiny Bones shenanigans. Yep. Creatures aren't many. Fear of Isolation, yeah. It is killable by Stormbrood. We could do that. A lot of enchantments, nowhere to run, etc. So I do wonder if Fungus would make sense, as well as some number of Duress. So maybe cut out the Stormbrood and trim out a couple Mana Dorks and maybe a Bramble Familiar as well. Run it back like this. Seems reasonable. Paw Patch Recruit should be pretty good here. No Paw Patch, but we do have Cub Overlord. We'll keep. A little bit slower than I'd like. Would have liked a turn one play, but we'll see. We'll draw. Multiversal Passage. We'll play the Martian Pass. And pass. Opponent shocks in. Makes me think they have interaction. Could, of course, be something like Disdainful Stroke. Could be something like Shoot the Sheriff or Nowhere to Run. So I think our best bet is probably the Fire Off the Overlord. And hope we dodge a Disdainful Stroke. It will resolve. Grab Ouroboroid or an Elf. Double Ouroboroid is nice. Yes. Ooh, and Nature's Rhythm as well in Yard. That's pretty helpful. The only downside of the Ouroboroid, we can't play it next turn. So instead, next turn we can play Badgermole, Cub. Yeah, I think we do go with the Ouroboroid. So Ouroboroid to hand. And we'll pass. Nature's Rhythm's available. Accumulate Wisdom. Interesting. I wouldn't expect there to be enough lessons in self-bounce to make that work, though maybe I'm mistaken. Draw. Bramble Familiar. So in that case, we will start with Verge. Cub. Does Cub resolve? Trigger targets. Any responses? Paying cost, firebending lessons. So we're not going to be able to play the Bramble Familiar, but we can attack for 1. Paying cost for, nowhere to run, that's fine. And we'll pass. And pass. Question now becomes, is it worth just a Windmill Slam the Ouroboroid? I guess we'll find out. Demonic Pact? Are you going to generous offer that to me? Is that what's happening here? I think I should duress my opponent. Our harmless offer. Yeah, about that opponent. No. Absolutely effing not. That's cute. I'll give you credit where credit's due. That's cute. Multiversal Passage for a forest tapped. And pass. Bailmerk. Pack draw 2. Honestly, I might want to Nature's Rhythm for Insidious Fungus. Rude. Draw. Forest. We'll play a Verge. I guess we don't need to play the Verge. We can play Multiversal Passage tap. So we'll play Ouroboroid then. Play Multiversal Passage for a Forest tapped. And pass. Paying cost for Combustion Technique. It's almost like Grixis Lessons. Weird. Discards 2 cards. So if I Nature's Rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. As opposed or Forest Verge. Still have a couple turns to deal with the Pact. Maybe use Accumulate Wisdom. And draw. Play Verge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I will start with Ouroboroid. And pass. So yeah, next turn we definitely want to Nature's Rhythm. Abrade. 3 damage. Bailmerk. Deals 4 damage. I imagine you have something to kill it then. So I've used damage, discard, draw. So you just have lose the game now. Unless you have, I guess, another harmless off. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So damage, discard, draw. Damage, discard, draw. Harmless Offering is sorcery speed. So how are you going to deal with Pact? I'll play the Elf and pass. Pact triggers. Unless you have an instant speed way to bounce back Pact, I guess. I mean, I guess you have Boomerang basics, yeah. But the trigger's on the stack. So even if you bounce it, you lose. Interesting. Okay, thank you, Duress. Well, we'll be back for match number 2. Alright, we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. And looks pretty good. We'll pass. Multiversal Passage for Mountain tapped. Draw. Cast Pollinator and pass. And pass. Red for Lessons. Quite rude. We'll draw. Play the Verge. In that case, I will impend. We'll grab the Paw Patch Recruit and pass. Draw. Another Overlord. Nature's Rhythm in yard as well. Multiversal Passage. Forest Shock for Badgermole Cub. Earthbend. Paying cost. Abandoned Attachments is fine. Paying cost. Firebending Lesson. Quite rude. In that case, we'll play Recruiter Pollinator. I'm thinking we go Pollinator. And pass. And pass. 4 mana as it currently stands. Artist talent, so it's, if it wasn't before, it definitely is known for a fact as Lessons. Draw. Forest 5. We could Dirge. But I think I will impend. For Badgermole Cub. Oh, I guess we could go Deep Cavern Bat. Also, there's Ouroboroid there. Oh, there's a lot of good options. Interesting. I think I'll still go Badgermole Cub. Actually, do I go Badgermole Cub or Deep Cavern? I think I'll go Deep Cavern here. Let's cast the Paw Patch Recruit. And Deep Cavern. You have Eloquentia. Accumulate Wisdom. Okay. Boomerang Basics, Accumulate Wisdom, Monument to Endurance. I think we have to take out the Monument, unfortunately. We have the Disruptive Stormbrood, so it's possible that we could let them play it. No, I think we do have to take out the Monument. Yeah, we'll take out the Monument. And pass. Gran. Accumulate Wisdom, Ancestral Recall at home. Abandon Attachments. I must have pitched the Spirebluff Canal earlier. So next turn we could Lively Dirge. Combustion Technique on Paw Patch. In that case, I will grow the bat. Multiversal Passage. Island Shock. Cast Boomerang Basics on bat. No, I'm gonna hold. Well, in that case, that makes things a bit interesting. If I Lively Dirge for 4... Alternatively, we can just play the Stormbrood and attempt to pop the Artist Talent. Honestly, I think that might be wise. So let's start by going to combat, see if they cast the Boomerang Basics on the Deep Cavern. Imagine they won't, but we'll see. We also could Stormbrood the Gran out. Attack you with Deep Cavern. No blocks. I will cast Stormbrood. Stormbrood target talent. Do Boomerang Basics it. Abandon attachments. Play you and pass. So next turn we can Dirge, pick up the Ouroboroid. Alternately, again, we could pick up some Badgermole Cubs. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd give me 6 mana plus Nature's Rhythm in the yard. Honestly, picking up the Cubs might be the move. Monument. Go to combat. Discards a card. Draws a card. Draws a card. Block with Stormbrood. Grand number 2. Another artist talent as well. Kills the Deep Cavern Bat. And creates a treasure token. So you have a second monument in hand now. We'll draw. So in that case, how would you like to proceed? Let's start by casting the Dirge. So return up the 2 creatures, mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dirge. So we go Badgermole. We'll have access to 6 mana plus the 3 from Stormbrood. We could also go Deep Cavern Bat, take a look at hand. I think I want to go Badgermole. Yes, let's do that. Because I think I need to get rid of the monument or the artist talent. Done. Badgermole target. Badgermole target. Yield all. We have 2 Nature's Rhythm in yard. We can generate 6 mana. So this will be 9, which is enough for Nature's Rhythm Harmonize. Then grab another Stormbrood. I believe I am running 2, right? Yes, I am. Perfect. Theoretically speaking, the only way they get around this is that they kill the Stormbrood right now. Otherwise, we'll get another Stormbrood on board and pop the talent. So, Nature's Rhythm. Tap the Stormbrood. And we'll tap Overlord. That's 5. For another Disruptive Stormbrood. Pop the Artist Talent. And pass in full. Artist Talent out. Overlord hits board. And we'll pass. Boomerang Basics. Return the treasure token. Why? Draws a card, discards a card, trigger monument. And opponent scoops it up. We'll take the win. Solid. Alright. Let's go to sideboard. So, Keen-Eyed Curator seems correct. Stormbreed actually put a lot of work there, though maybe Fungus is a bit more reasonable to cast. And I'm not sure if Duress is good, though. So trimming down on Pollinator Elf. Maybe some number of Bramble Familiar. Deep Cavern Bat also is a little bit weak here, just because it's easy to kill and reclaim what we take. Could be a good reason why we should run Duress then. Bring in, let's say, 2 Duress, trimming another Llanowar Elf and Gene Pollinator. And run it back. Yes, let's do that. Yeah, basically we want to just disrupt both their graveyard and any of their key enchantments or artifacts. That seems to be the right play against lessons. So Keen-Eyed Curator, taking lessons out of yard. Stormbrood and Insidious Fungus, destroying artifacts and enchantments. Artist Talent and Monument, of course. Seem very good. Opponents thinking hard whether or not they want to be on the play or on the draw. I mean, if they want me to be on the play, I will not say no. I was actually doing some interesting work with my dad in Modern, finding that certain matchups actually are better when I'm on the draw, which is fascinating. Mainly when we're digging for hate pieces like Trinosphere, Grafters, Cages, etc. Which makes sense. If we're digging for answers, being on the draw gives us more opportunity to find them. But I imagine it's very case-by-case basis. I will keep. I will pass. For Storm Chaser talent, you got it. We'll play Gene Pollinator. We'll pass. And pass. Boomerang basics on talent. Yep, makes sense. Plays another talent. We'll take 3. And draw. Recruit. So in that case, let's start with Multiversal Passage on Swamp. Yes, we can do Swamp. And Shock. Cast Badgermole Cub. On Forest. And then we'll go Black-Green Tap Cub, Patchwork Recruit cast, and Duress target you. Ooh, that Pyroclasm would have been a bit scary, but we're going to take that now. And we'll pass and pass. Abandon attachments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana next turn. Multiversal Passage for Mountain Shock for firebending lesson, I imagine. Hit Cub. Or not. Attack for 4. I'll take 6 instead, down to 9. Recruit on recruit. And draw. In that case, I will cast Ouroboroid. And pass. And pass. Cast Gran. Cast Artist Talent. Triggers. And abandon attachments. I'd like to get rid of Artist Talent for sure. Attacking will block down to 6. Multiversal Passage, Mountain tapped. And draw. Another Patchwork Recruit. So I'm thinking, how do you want to proceed? How much damage do I currently have on board? So this will be 4, 8, 14. Oh, we just win. Cast Stormbrood. Go to combat. Trigger. Attack all. 18 damage. Opponent did not fear the crack bag, but really should have. Solid. We'll be back for match number 3. Alright, we're back for match 3. On the play for game 1. I will keep so we can start with Paw Patch Recruit into Bramble Familiar Badgermal Cub and potentially into Rhythm. Which is a thought. But the recruit on 1 definitely seems correct. Verge. Cast Recruit. No Offspring, unfortunately. We'll pass. And pass. Blooming Marsh. Analyze the pollen. So this seems like potentially Ouroboroid as well. We'll draw Multiversal Passage, play Starting Town, and cast Bramble Familiar. Go to combat, swing for 2. And pass. Harvester of Misery. Quite rude. We'll draw. Balemark. In that case, I will play Multiversal Passage on a Forest and Shock. Cast Badgermal Cub. Earthbend on Verge. Impend with Overlord of the Balemark. And we'll pick up the Bramble Familiar. I will attack in for 3 and pass. Sultai. Awaken the Honored Dead. Hits the Badgermal Cub, Paw Patch Recruit. And draw. Landwar Elf. Now we could Nature's Rhythm for what, 2? No, we'll just start with Bramble Familiar. Elf, go to combat, swing for 5, down to 10, and pass. Bringer of Last Gift, so this is definitely Reanimator. May have enter as a copy creature in target graveyard. Oh, does that work with its cast trigger? Oh, it does. Fascinating. So in that case, I'll become a copy of Verge. And then Harvester of Misery. Wow, that was a blowout and a half. How did you get 2? Oh, because there was the one in your yard. I see. So it counts as cast. Then each player sacrifice all creatures, then they come in. Then Harvester triggers. Yikes. Yeah, that was pretty good, opponent. And that's what, 15 damage currently on board? Right now, a Nature's Rhythm for X equals 2 at most. Methinks I don't have an out here. No. I'm going to concede. We're not exactly in a good spot. So this is Reanimator. Lost for game 1. So in that case, we definitely want Keen-Eyed Curator. And I'm going to say Doorkeeper Thrall seems pretty good. Deep Cavern Bat, probably not as much. Stormbrood, probably not as much. Lightdrum Pollinator Elf. Maybe bring in Intimidation Tactics. Because at least then we can exile a card from hand, but they're not necessarily discard from hand. So I think we'll just run it back like this. On the play for game 2, I will keep Multiversal Passage, Forest, Shock for Elf, and pass, and pass. Watergrave tapped, and draw. Play Blooming Marsh for Keen-Eyed Curator. Go to combat, swing for 1. Verge for Overlord the Baelmerk. Picks up the Bringer, chooses not to. Picks it up. Okay. And draw another elf. We'll play the Starting Town and impend. I will grab the Ouroboroid and go to combat, swing of the Keen-Eyed, hold up mana for Doorkeeper as well as Keen-Eyed. And opponent scoops it up, we'll take the win. Alright. I think overall we should keep it as is. This is a bit sketchy if they have removal or we don't draw into a land. Otherwise, it has some decent acceleration, some decent hate as well. Let's take the risk. I should have 21 lands left in deck and 2 looks. We'll pass in full. Surveil. Keeps it on top. Blooming Marsh for Elf. And pass. And pass. Bitter Triumph pitches Usurper. That's a bit concerning. We'll draw. In that case, how would we like to proceed? Play Verge. I'm thinking playing the Bramble Familiar so we have more mana to utilize Keen-Eyed. Let's cast the Bramble Familiar and pass and pass. Hopefully they can't reanimate this turn. Destroys familiar. Draw. Play Blooming Marsh. Cast Keen-Eye. And let's just eat Usurper now. Actually, we should hold. They're gonna mill 3 cards, yeah? Paying cost for Bitter Triumph. I'll eat Usurper. And we'll pass. Brood Spinner. Surveil 2. So you can sacrifice this creature. No, so it doesn't really do too much. Enter as a copy. Exile that card. So how does this read? When this creature enters. Okay. There's Doorkeeper. The only problem is I don't have the white mana to cast it. So now we could Nature's Rhythm to get a Thrall. I could, over the Baelmerk, pick up Keen-Eyed and then play Patchwork. The main question, of course, is, I mean, if they get a 6/6 flying, that's still pretty rough for me. So let's impend. Yes. I will grab the Keen-Eyed. Do we cast the Keen-Eye? There's no benefit to doing so right now, so we're going to cast the Recruit instead. And then pass. And pass. Thankfully it only goes to hand. If it went to field, that would be unfortunate for us. Oh, but they can pick up Mind Bidden. Yeah, I guess that is a bit of a problem, isn't it? I mean, we do get a decent number of bodies on board, which is relevant. Enter as a copy. So even with Doorkeeper, I'm pretty sure it's still enter as a copy of Bringer, but it just wouldn't get the ETB trigger, which I think the ETB trigger right now kind of benefits me than it benefits them. So they did pitch a Watery Grave. Yeah, Soul-Type Reanimator does seem interesting. Yep. Not much I can do about that. Attack for 2, no blocks. I guess we could have arguably blocked. Maybe it would have been wise to do so. Yep. Interesting that you can stack the trigger so it comes back. Yeah, that actually is fascinating. Maybe I should have Nature Rhythm Doorkeeper Throw after all. We'll draw Tyvar. So I now have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So at this point, I think our best out is just by racing to the bottom. So I will cast Nature's Rhythm. For 4. And I will grab Ouroboroid. In retrospect, though, could I have went for 2? Grabbed Badger Mole. That left me with 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I should have went for 2 for Badger Mole in retrospect. This is something that I keep on forgetting of Badger Mole. When you have Dorks on board, you can definitely be a bit more aggressive. But we'll go for Ouroboroid. Because what it meant, I would have had more bodies on board. So, Ouroboroid. And at this point, we will pass. And pass. So I do have to be worried about the crackback now. Yeah, if I had been smart, went Nature's Rhythm for 2, Earthbend, then I could have Nature's Rhythm for 2, 4, 2, Badgermole could tap for 4, got an Ouroboroid, then it would have had 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. So I would have 5, 7, 10, 12, 14 damage, plus an additional 2 per. So you would have very much have had lethal. So they did analyze the pollen. Paid for additional cost, it seems like. Yes. For Stormbrood. So that can kill the Ouroboroid. Down to 8, we'll draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I think I should do now... 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to need a blocker in a way of Doorkeeper Thrall, yeah? Yeah, we're going to need a blocker. But I don't have... I guess I do have white in the way of Gene Pollinator. 1, 2, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's start by playing Doorkeeper Thrall. I guess we can do it at instant speed. Yes, we can do that at instant speed. So we can play Tyvar. Cast Keen-Eyed. Alright, cast the Bramble. Let's cast the Bramble. Well, I guess Keen-Eyed. Yeah, Keen-Eyed presents more damage. Alright. Trigger, always yield. We hold up Doorkeeper Thrall. They attack. We then cast Thrall, white, tap, green, Doorkeeper, go to blocks, block, pass, down to 4. Tyvar presents lethal on board, does it not? Next is the greatest power, which is 3. So this would be 6, 12. Yes. So Tyvar presents lethal. Do you have anything for the crackback? Bone scoops it up. We got there. So definitely misplayed with the Nature's Rhythm, but we were able to get there, thankfully. Solid. All right. Well, we'll be back for match 4. All right, we're back for match 4 on the play for game 1. A bit sketch, but workable. We draw into a land that is in a forest. We can Gene Pollinator into Bat. Though maybe just better to go Llanowar Elf into Llanowar Elf, Llanowar Elf. Forest for Llanowar Elf, pass. And pass. Basically just try and flood the board into Ouroboroid. Rude. Draw, Verge, cast, and cast, and pass, and pass. We are now 1 short of the Ouroboroid, though, so we'll probably just line up Deep Cavern and Gene Paul. Candy Trail, scry 2. Okay. What this? Top, bottom, trail, scry 2. Don't you just go potentially top, top, or top, bottom again, I guess? Feels like that's not great value, but top, top. And draw. So in that case, let's start with Bat. What you got? Disruptive Stormbrood, so Stormbrood out. Cast Elf. Cast Gene Paul. And pass. Next we can play Ouroboroid. We'll be able to get in, what, like 6 damage next turn? So they get rid of the Bat. Stormbrood's back. Which means they'll be able to kill the Ouroboroid is the only downside. Multiversal Passage for Forest Shock. Cast Ouroboroid. We'll pass. Go to combat, triggers, all those shenanigans. Attack for 6. I am tapped out. So Stormbrood can pop the Ouroboroid, but I do have 8 damage staring you down. Of course, you're theoretically at 20 right now. Stormbrood down, or Stormbrood, Ouroboroid down. Candy Trail. I think the last 2 is like a land and an unknown. We'll draw. Patrick Recruit Offspring. Go to combat, swing for 8. Down to 9. Opponent's at a theoretical 15. And I'm currently presenting 11. What say you, opponent? Crack the trail. Crack the trail. If we draw into Ouroboroid, I believe we win. Starting town. We'll play it. Go to combat. Swing for 11 down to 4. Lethal's on board. We'll pass. So this is Sultai colors. No idea what we're playing against, though, I'll be honest. A Harvester would suck. Oh. Oh no, that was unexpected. Singularity. So why would they mill themselves is my question. Interesting. I will draw Stormbrood. We're short a land for Stormbrood. I don't have anything in yards. We'll pass. And pass. Yeah, that was quite brutal. Origins, flashback. Interesting. Force to hand. Winter Night Stories. Do you mill yourself? Overlord the Baelmerg. I mean, you're getting pretty damn close. I'd love a land here to pop this Overlord. Draw. Overlord. So what do we want here? So they picked up Ugin, Eye of the Storms. Fascinating. Overlord. So I guess we need to pick up Deep Cavern Bat and then pick up their Ugin. Opponent's Tinkin. I mean, I imagine this resolves unless you've somehow cheated in Force Negation. Even then, that wouldn't count. Pact Negation. Subtlety. Both. Pick up Deep Cavern Bat. Cast Deep Cavern Bat. I'm going to take that Ugin, please. No, thank you. We'll pass. And pass. Origins. So do you have plan in case you mill yourself, I wonder? Reveals Stormbrood. So Stormbrood gets back Ugin. Plays another Origins. I mean, at this point, they're just trying to present lethal. Yeah, I'd like a land here for Brood to pop one of the enchantments at this point. We draw. Perfect. Cast Stormbrood. Stormbrood will pop the one that will present Overrun. And I'll pass. So I'll definitely be able to play Ugin at this point. Ugin. Stormbrood down. So this is 8 down to 5. So unless I find a solution to these Esper Origins, we're dead. I actually wonder in retrospect if I should have popped one of them and they would have overrun 6 instead of 8. Yeah, in retrospect I should have. I did misplay there. So what the hell is this deck called? Oh, I didn't even realize the Reef. I mean, that's 12 damage, yeah. And Ice Till. Bossing Say. Target player mills 4. Down to 13. And down to 1. Ugin exiles Overlord the Baelmerk. Alright. Well, methinks that's a loss, eh? I'd be surprised otherwise. We draw. I mean, there's Overlord. Had I popped you, then you would be dead. You would be overran. But then you still have the Restless Reef, so we'd still be dead at the end of the day. Yeah, so we definitely misplayed earlier, but unfortunately it didn't matter. Interesting. So in that case, seems like Keen-Eyed makes sense. Since they're plane sweepers, some number of duress seems right. Trimming down on Pollinator Elf. Maybe a Bramble Familiar. Could argue the Deep Cavern Bat since they do seem to have ample amounts of removal. Stormbrood still seems semi-relevant-ish. Can hit Ice Till, can pop artifacts, enchantments. In fact, the Fungus seem relevant. Let's run it back like this. Or let's go down to 2 duress. Yeah, I do think I'm going to go down to 2 duress, 2 intimidation tactics. I think that makes sense. Yeah, so what the fresh hell is this deck? It's not Reanimator. Esper control, no. 4C control, no. Doesn't look like Simic Landfall. Sultai control? Yes, it is Sultai control. Okay. I wish we were a little bit more creative than archetype names, but c'est la vie. We'll be able to play for game 2. I'll keep... It is very top deck reliant, though, but we do have acceleration. Opponent one is down to 5. Play Blooming Marsh, Elf, and pass. And pass. Blooming Marsh. Tragic. Draw. Gene Paul. Multiversal Passage for a Swamp Tapped. And pass. And pass. Esper Origin Surveil. You can Nature's Rhythm for 1. Doesn't seem too great, though. So I'm thinking maybe instead... I guess it depends on what we draw into, of course. We draw. Starting Town. We'll play the Starting Town. Yeah, the Nature's Rhythm for 1 doesn't do too much, unfortunately. Though I guess it does get us the Stormbrood. Fine. For 1. Yeah, this has to be for 1. Does set up for Stormbrood. So in that case, I'll grab Insidious Fungus or Elf. Let's grab the Elf. Go to combat. Swing for 1. We can set up for Nature's Rhythm again later. We'll pass. We draw Bramble Familiar. In that case, that is 5. Let's go to combat. Let's just attack with these two, play the Bramble Familiar. Cast, pass, and pass. Fabled Passage, fetch. Are we going to play a Ice Till? Esper Origin. In that case, we'll pop it with Stormbrood. And draw Fungus. Interesting. So in that case, we could just pop it with Fungus. That would cost me 3 mana. 1, 2, 3. Leave me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we will cast the Stormbrood, though. Try and apply more pressure to board. Attack. Down to 17, we'll pass. Huh. Paying cost for Ice Still, Fable Passage, Fetch, Swamp, Overlord, Ice Still for starting town, and passing. Overlord the Bailmerk. So if I Nature's Claim here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, theoretically 11. How do we want to proceed? My issue is, of course, the singularity. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That represents a decent amount of damage. Internally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 4, 6 mana. I don't think I have anything that can deal with the Ice Till from deck. No. Though, actually, how does Singularity read? Destroy all creatures, then any number of creatures may mill their library rounded down. Tyvar doesn't give indestructible, it just becomes indestructible. Yes. I mean, we could play Tyvar. And that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4. Awkward no matter how I look at it. Let's go to combat. Swing for 3 in the air. For some reason I do feel like they're going to Singularity. Shocker, I know. I will impend. Well, there is Tyvar. There's Badgermole Cub too. We go 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we could Nature's Claim for 10, but we have no real good way of stopping the Singularity, like I said. We'll grab the Tyvar. Again, at least this way we can have a indestructible body on board. I also can return Familiar to hand. Yep. I still doing I still things. And that's Ugin mana as well. Yeah, Singularity Rupture is 6 mana, so they have enough mana for Rupture or Ugin, respectively. Ice Still, starting town mill. Rupture. So, let's first off and foremost, yeah, I guess we'll tap you. Unfortunately, I can't tap you and return you, so yes. Still have Nature's Rhythm. How many Esper Origins are in your yard? Deathmark. Doesn't look like you have any Esper Origins. Okay. They do have Winter Night Stories. One, two, three, four, 5, 8. Badgermole Cub. Badgermole Cub is a -1. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So what can we do with 7? We could pick up... We took out Deep Cavern Bat. Maybe that was a mistake. We already have Tyver on board, so kind of a moot point there. Could pick up Keen-Eyed if a Keen-Eye's left. Otherwise, we can just Nature's Rhythm for an Ouroboroid. The only downside would mean is Tyvar's tapped, though. So let's do this. Badgermole Cub. On Forest. Do I play the Fungus? We'll say yes. We'll play the Fungus. Go to combat, swing for 4. Overlord triggered down to 10. Lethal is on board. Ugin does get rid of Tyvar. All Fate Scroll. Mana Rock, okay. 3 mana Mana Rocks. The next turn we can tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ouroboroid doesn't present lethal. Stormbrood on Cub resolves. I suppose we can tap it, make Tyvar indestructible. Deathmark on Fungus, yes. We still have lethal on board as it stands. Overlord. I don't see an Ugin in there. What do you pick up? Returns Icetail. We'll draw. Starting town. One, two, three, 4. Place starting town tapped. I can't kill the Overlord. I can't get past the Overlord this turn. If I attack with Tyvar, we can pump it to 6, push him to 3 for what it's worth. I will Nature's Rhythm. and 4. There's Ouroboroid. And we'll pass. So now lethal's again on board. We'll hold. Ugin would be a problem. Ice still resolves. Mill a card. Esper Origins. So now you can flashback Origins. Both my funguses are in yard. Stormbrood hits Ouroboroid. Quite rude of you. Trigger. Esper Origin. They'll go up to 11 now. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7. Finds fungus. Which means they can pop my Overlord. Winter Night Stories. And pass. No attacks. We draw. Badgermole Cub. So I will start with Cub. No, actually it should be fine if we do it like this. Green Swamp. Cub. Earthbend on Forest. Nature's Rhythm. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to think here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tap Badgermole Cub. And done. Ouroboroid. Trigger. Does a 5/5. Go to combat. Go to attacks. We'll tap the Ouroboroid, make it indestructible. Bailmer trigger. And pass in full. And you very much have lethal on board as it stands. Stormbrood pops the Ouroboroid. I guess with Omen, yeah, I guess you do have mill out protection as long as Stormbrood keeps on being able to be cast, I suppose. There's Ugin. I'm imagining target Tyvar. Tyvar down. Ice Till Mill, but dangerous. There's Stormbrood gone, so less mill protection. Bossing Say. Restless Reef. I guess you can Earthbend the Restless Reef. And then mill me 4 cards. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, because it also gains haste off the Bossing Say. Interesting. I do need to be careful about the crackback, though. Winter Night Stories. That's a choice. Down to 4 cards in library. We haven't seen any of their artifacts, which I find interesting. Wonder if they're all in hand. $17 cards left in deck. Opponent tax for 2. Ugin 0. For what? Singularity? Yes. Down to 9 cards in deck. Insidious Fungus to now be able to deal with the Overlord. We'll draw. In that case... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... X equals 4, so actually 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Are they not tap all the right colors? Done. I have no idea what's left in deck, but we might as well search. X equals 3. Yeah, it's only 3. Patchwork Recruit? Yikes. We'll grab the Recruit and pass. Overlord will come onto the field. The thing is that they just animate both Restless Reef, we lose, right? Because they mill us for 8. Yeah, they see that too. Interesting. Yeah, as I've said before, and I'll say again, sweepers are definitely a little bit difficult for this deck to play around. Why I'm definitely considering adding a card here. Let's see, what is it called? Legal and standard. I am thinking about Melchstrider Eulogist. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, draw a card. Otherwise, there's also Inspiring Call, which is draw a card for each creature you control a +1/+1 counter on it. Those creatures gain Indestructible. I can block, but it unfortunately does not matter here. We's are dead. And the benefit of Eulogist is that we also can search for it, we can dirge for it, etc. Though Inspiring Call, being able to do it at instant speed is nice. Though it does get absolutely hosed by things like Day of Black Sun, though be fair, also Melchstride Eulogist does as well. That's where I'm kind of hesitant on both. But if there are a lot of sweepers outside of Day of Black Sun, then it might be the correct choice to have some form of sweeper protection. But with that being said, we'll be back for match number 5. Alright, we're back for match number 5 on the play for game 1. We'll keep a little bit of slower hand, but definitely is workable. Marsh, Elf, pass. Pass. Canal. Do you have removal? It would be unfortunate if so. Draw Tyvar. In that case, I will cast Tyvar and pass. Paying cost for Torch. Why wouldn't you Torch prior to that? Weird. Paying cost for a Braid. Rude. We draw. I will play Blooming Marsh and Gene Paul and pass and pass. So it looks like Prowess if I had to guess. We draw Starting Town Forest. Cast Ouroboroid and pass. Do another Braid or anything that deals 3 damage. You have a Torch that's bargained. Rude. Go to combat, swing for 1. And pass. So we need to draw into some action then. Boomerang Basics, the talent. Replays the talent, gets an otter. Yeah, just the sheer amount of removal and standards kind of insane, to be honest. We'll draw Verge. We'll play Starting Town and pass. No attacks. And pass. Yeah, I feel like there was a post going around about the standard metagame, and specifically looking at worlds, where like with the breadth or number of cards that are available, only a very small selection are actually played. And I think this is definitely true for both worlds, but also in general. We'll take the 3. But I think also one thing that may have gotten kind of like missed when kind of looking at standard right now is the fact that it feels like in every set, and reasonably so, Wizards prints removal. And normally that's for limited. I think over the years though, the limited card pool has gotten potentially better, for lack of a better term, where cheap removal is pretty good. It's like pretty well rated in both the commons and uncommon slots, and it feels like there's just a ton of removal printed in every set, or like a a decent amount, but a lot of playable removal. So now standard of a 3-year rotation, we just have like all this removal that people can play. It's not a bad thing in theory, but in execution, I'm just not sure. Yeah, we skipped this up. Unfortunately, they were a bit too fast for the hand we had. Yeah, I wonder if there's something to be said about there being so much removal in standard. Like, is that a consequence of a 3-year rotation? Or is that just a consequence of Wizards printing above rate removal in every set? Like, there feels like almost in every set there is an equivalent of a shock, right? Which I feel like wasn't the case prior. I don't feel like there used to be the equivalent of like a shock every single set. But now it feels like there is. And I find that fascinating. What do I bring in here? You could argue fungus. Could argue duress, maybe. Keen-eyed, not as good. Maybe a couple duress, trim a Gene Paul and elf. Run it back like this. On the play for game 2, I will keep so we'll go Marsh, Recruit, Starting Town into Bailmerk, Forest into Cub, and if they have something to remove them, he's Stormbrood. That makes sense. We also could draw on something off of the Bailmerk. Opponent will mulligan down to 6. But yeah. No, I don't know. That's a question that I didn't really think about too much until just now regarding the amount of removal in the format. But Wizards printing what seems to be almost the equivalent of Shock or Shock Light, or in some cases Shock Plus in every set, I wonder if there's something to be said about there being too much good removal or too much cheap removal at the very least. I'm going to combat. Attack with Patch or Paw Patch. Torch. Yep. Starting Town, Bailmerk. Grab Gene Paul or Elf. I think I grab the Elf here. Yeah? Yeah. We'll pass. And pass. Tisn't Eland. Duelist. Draw. Marsh. Cast Cub. Cub, Earthbend, Marsh. Petty Revenge on Duelist. And pass. And pass. Petty Revenge definitely feels good in this matchup. Passage. Island. Shock 18 for Duelist. Torch, targeting Cub. Pitching a card, drawing a card. Draw. Ouroboroid. So we'll start with Offspring. Elf. And pass. And pass. Next turn we can Ouroboroid. Tiger Seal. Riddler, draw 2. And attack for 3. And draw. So in that case, I'll cast Cub. Earthbend on Forest. And 2 for Ouroboroid. Triggers. No attacks. Will pass. Overlord, Tiger Seal, and pass. I mean, the board's going to get pretty big pretty quick here. Not to mention Overlord will hit board next turn. Winter Night. Yeah, the fact they can Winter Night, then Winter Night with Harmonize off a Duelist is pretty freaking good. Jeez. Yeah, Winter Night and Duelist are actually very good together. Because you cast Winter Night for 3, and with Duelist on board, you can attack and then cast Winter Night for 1. Yeah, that's pretty good. Do you have an answer for the current board state's the question. Ping cost. And opponent scoops up. Alright. Solid. You got a game 3 out of this. I think we run it back as is. Yes. That's a no for me, friends. That's a mulligan. That's not much better. Mulligan again. Oh, you have to be joking me. We'll keep, but we need to find... Oh, what do we need to find? A land at the very least, so we can play Bramble Familiar on 2, Cub on 3, maybe into an Overlord or Tyvar. Let's pitch the Overlord and hope we can somehow curve out into this Ouroboroid. I'm not holding my breath. I mean, we get 2 looks, but yeah, those first 2 hands of nothing but lands and rhythm, not good. This land with 1 land and a decent curve, also not looking good unless I find a land here. I mean, we have 21 hits. 21 hits. We draw. Well, sometimes you play the numbers, and sometimes the numbers play you, folks, but us missing our land drop on 2, I think we'll seal our fate. I, for some reason, do not have a good feeling about this game here. Even if I had found a land, I still would have been a bit rough unless we found 2 lands in a row, I think. Draw. I mean, at least it's a castable question mark. Also, I know I talked about it before, and I definitely talked about it in like my Discords or in Discords. But can we just talk about how insane Boomerang Basics is? Like, good enough that it is, for lack of a better term, just a better unsummon. But the fact that it also draws you a card is nutty. Replacing itself for 1. Yeah, it's just such a good card. Such a good card. Especially as Wizards has definitely pushed. Oh, you have to be joking me. That's 4 draws in, 0 lands out of 21. I mean, we're getting towards like 70-80% chance and whiffing. That's just so bad. We'll pass. Not much I can do. Basics. Yeah, that's GG's. That's GG's, friends. Even if I were to find a land at this point, it don't matter no more. If you have removal, you win on the spot. Hell, you really don't even need to cast it, but you got it. As dead. Alright. Well, a bit of an unfortunate way to end things. I mean, this league reaffirms what I already kind of knew, which is cheap removal as well as sweepers are just really hard for the deck to really manage in a meaningful way. So the question then becomes how we overcome that, and I'm not entirely sure. One could argue splashing blue for counter magic. I could see going Sultai rather than Abzan for that reason. That would help with the sweepers more so than sweeper protection like, what is it? Inspiring Call or Meltstrider Eulogist. So instead going for something like Ensimic Aggro with Repulsive Mutation. I think that would make sense. Having Spider Sense would also make sense. So I think there definitely are good options. We'd probably just replace Doorkeeper Thrall with Torpor Orb instead, so we still have some protection against ETB triggers. So yeah, there's definitely some considerations, I think, as far as changing colors. Going blue wouldn't necessarily help with cheap removal, though. I mean, I think that just comes down to we need to just play through it and hope for the best. So, it'll be interesting. Things to think about. I guess maybe we could consider something like Innkeeper's Talent. Innkeeper's Talent would make it so permanents I control of counters have Ward 1, though oftentimes we're seeing like Jean Paul or Elf getting hit with Torch or with Firebending Lesson, etc. So I'm not sure how effective the Ward 1 from Innkeeper's Talent would be. So, yeah. I mean, Tyvar definitely helps. Tyvar can dodge removal, but still suffers to sweepers like Day of Black Sun. But normally those are coming in games 2, game 3. So, things to think about. Things to think about indeed. Alright though, with that being said, that there will be the end of tonight's YouTube video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button, comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback be much appreciated. For as much that I hope y'all learn from me in both my successes and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. However, if you do want to watch these videos recorded live over on Twitch, please do consider finding me there Sundays through Thursdays at 10 p.m. CST and Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. CST for the weekend challenges. Otherwise, you can head over to my Patreon where you can find these videos ad-free and early. Last but not least, if you have reached the point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. But with that being said though, folks, I will see you next time. Bye-bye!